Everybody, and welcome to the closing bell here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. Let's take a look at what happened in the markets today. Well, we basically have seen a market that was short-term overbought. You know, as you look at all the major indices, they basically came in and they took some profits. We're seeing that across the board in the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the Russell. We saw some profit taking early. Then we saw some rebound, and basically what you're seeing is a consolidating range-bound type of market. I wouldn't say that this is anything more than that. Some people might want to put it out there as this is a potential reversal or pullback phase. I think this is more of a consolidation phase where we're going to have some choppy trade and some narrow trade over the next couple days. You got to work off some of these overbought conditions that have basically transpired since the election last week. With that being said, the Dow Jones finished the day down about 0.2% at 18,868. We also have the Nasdaq. It finished the day up about 0.3%, almost 0.4% at 52.95. You also have the S&P 500 finished the day down about 0.1%, almost 0.2% at 2176.94. The action came on mixed volume. I'm taking a look at the New York Stock Exchange. 895 million on average, usually about 1 billion. So off a little bit on New York, but NASDAQ came in a little bit heavier at 2 billion today. Average is about 1.9 billion. With advancers versus decliner, outpacing decliners on both the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, as well as I'm looking at the new highs, outpacing new lows, both on New York as well as the NASDAQ. So we had some laggards that started to get picked up. Some of the more notable ones are the Facebooks, Apples, Googles, Netflix. And then you saw some of the industrials, finance names the leaders start to pull down a little bit, profit taking, so forth. Relative strength in general was seen in a lot of commodity names and sectors. I'm going to look at it from a sector level. We saw it in livestock. You can take a look at the ETF COW, C-O-W, up about 2.3%. Cotton was up today. Ticker symbol BAL is the ETF that you can track if you don't have access to the futures. Up 2.2%. Nat Gas was up. UNG up 1.79%. We actually saw that bond prices were on the uptick. Take a look at the TLT, which is a hybrid between the 10-year and the 30-year long end of the curve bonds, up about 0.9%. The relative weakness came in, again, in some commodities that have been moving pretty aggressively to the upside. Sugar came down 4.2%. SGG is the ETF you can take a look at. Gold miners continue, specifically junior gold miners, continue to get hit. Gold, again, looks like it could be setting up for some more downside. GDX has been leading the way down about 3.6%. Australia, I'm bringing this one up because, and I'll talk about this tomorrow in the overnight action. Australia, a commodity-based economy, and also they also came out with disappointing employment numbers there. Down about 1.9%. EWA is the ETF that you can take a look at if you're looking to learn more about what's going on in Australia and their stocks. Copper was down today. Copper was on a tear for the last basically 19 sessions to the upside. Copper came down. JJC is the ticker symbol for the ETF, down about 1.9%. And then metals and mining. You know, again, you want to keep an eye on this. These are going to be those infrastructure plays on the metals side. XME is the ticker symbol, down about 1.72%. So like I said, there's just a few pullbacks here, maybe working off some of the overbought conditions in some of these areas, as well as just playing off some weakness. Now, taking a look at some earnings movers after hours. NetApp, talked about it in Tech Talk. It's up about 9% after hours at around the $38 level. We were talking about it this afternoon in Tech Talk at 3:30 Eastern Time. It was trading around $34.73. We were estimating through the options, taking a look at the options pricing, that the stock could move either plus or minus around $2.25, $2.30, or around 7%, 7.8%, almost 8% move being priced in. It's exceeded that, and it happens to be the upside. Good earnings, good guidance. Cisco Systems, though, we did talk about that as well in Tech Talk. You can go back and reference that. 3:30 Eastern Time, we talked about this. responded negatively to initially dipping down to the $30 level, down about 5%. We were talking about it when the stock was trading around 31.57, and we were seeing that the options were pricing in for the stock to move either up or down around $1.30 or roughly 4%. Stock's down 5% right now after hours. We'll watch that one closely, but the options pretty much so priced in the move. That's why we're pointing it out to you. Other names and other sectors that were a little bit weak post some earnings were First Solar. First Solar, actually, we don't know where the stock is trading right now. It's going to set to open at 4:35 Eastern time. They came out, their guidance for 2017 was a little bit weaker than expected, even though the earnings were pretty stable. You also see other solar names falling post after hours in sympathy. If you look at the ETF TAN down, also SPWR, TSL, CSIQ, as well as SCTY, all down anywhere between 3.6% and 0.2%. So it looks like they're dropping in sympathy. Want to keep an eye on some critical economic data tomorrow. Watch the CPI tomorrow for that's going to be released at 8:30 Eastern time. I'm also going to watch some housing data that's going to come out. First, I want to watch the starts on the housing side as well as building permits. That's going to give us a good barometer on how the housing sector is doing. There was an initial pop after the election. We're going to see if that sustains after we see these numbers again out at 8:30 Eastern time. Also, we're going to watch the weekly initial claims. Want to see if they come in above or below 257,000. That seems to be where the consensus estimates are, and that's what the market is potentially looking for. So we'll keep an eye on that, especially since we've gotten some mixed economic reports, specifically along the lines of employment, both out of the UK as well as Australia. We're seeing a little bit the worse than expected employment numbers that are coming out of there. So that could be weighing on the market as well, and we're going to keep an eye on that tomorrow. And stay tuned. Tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time, we'll be looking at the overnight action. We'll be able to look at these numbers. And also at 9:30 Eastern time, we will be doing what's hot now on the open. So join us then. Till then, have a great evening, and we will see you tomorrow.